So I wanted to talk to you about the procedure that you had done with me. You had a labiaplasty, actually a surgery that many people do, which is both a labiaplasty of the labia minora, those inner lips, and the labia majora, the outer lips. So tell me why you decided to have that done. What was going on that led you to come to me to request this procedure?
Well, I've been self-conscious because I've had several children, and for whatever reason, that area had been stretched pretty severely, and I recently got married. And
Exciting.
I know, and I just thought, why not? Why not look the best we can, anytime, anywhere? So I checked into it.
Right. So tell me about your experience. So you came to see me for a consultation, and we talked through the various options. What was that like for you, coming in at first, before you'd had the surgery, and then a little bit about what the surgery itself was like?
After the consultation, I was even more sure that I was doing the right thing. And I felt so comfortable with you. I made sure that I thought I had the best doctor in town, and I did.
Oh, thank you.
The procedures turned out beautifully. I had complications, and that is what endears me to you even more, because, there are times that things can go wrong. It's just part of any surgery. It wasn't too critical. But I did not follow instructions. I recommend that anybody do this. Stay off your feet for 3 days. If you have an upstairs, stay downstairs. I didn't do all of that, and I developed some swelling that followed with some temperature. And as a doctor, I was amazed. I mean, I was sitting on a Sunday with my husband, and I even reluctantly, I thought I would be ready for Monday to say I had a little bit of temperature. But as you know, I caught you jogging. Imagine that.
Yeah, I think you texted me and I was out running around the park. Yeah.
Right.
Which I love my patients to do. So I think that's really important. If you have surgery, you need to know that you can get hold of your surgeon if you have something that you're worried about, right? Even if it's a Sunday. I don't want you to wait till Monday. You'd be scared, I imagine, because your temperature was elevated and you had some more swelling than you expected. That must feel pretty scary.
Yes, and as you recall, you were on the phone with me or by email every day. And so it took a while for that fever to set in, but it wasn't high, and I was like, I've got Tylenol tomorrow morning, but you insisted that I get medication right away by that evening. And everything worked out and everything went well, but I just, in fact, as you can verify, I was in your office and asked to do this because I just was so impressed, and my husband was as well, at what a great doctor you were. If something goes wrong, you're in the best hands. And it wasn't critically wrong, but it was just, you have heart.
Oh.
You're a doctor with heart.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but I think it's super important to know when we have surgery that sometimes things don't always go according to plan. So you had a little bit of temperature elevation. We were worried you might be developing an infection, jumped on that right away with antibiotics, which is so important. You can't wait till the next day or wait for 2 days for someone to call you back. And then you got a little more swelling than some people do, which wasn't your fault, by the way. That just happens. That can happen, and it goes away with time. But I think if it were me, I'd really want someone to be walking me through that because it's scary. I've had surgery myself, and we worry that something might be going wrong. So communication is really important. So the swelling went away. You didn't develop an infection, thank goodness. Everything cleared up, and now it's been a few months since your surgery. How do you feel now after it's done?
I feel great. I feel great, and I mean, it's a world of difference, and then just adding icing on the cake, you offered, just because there may have been a little bit of stretching because of the inflammation, and was like, oh, we can fix this. Just come back in, and we're going to do a stem cell, and You just really, care about your patients and care truly that we're going to have the best outcome possible. And I'm totally thrilled.
Well, so what you were mentioning, I do have a commitment to make things turn out just as well as they can. So when the skin is a little bit more stretched than we want, using platelet-rich plasma afterwards, which we did recently, can really help. So, I really think it's important for a surgeon to walk through the whole process with the patient from the beginning to the end. And if something doesn't go exactly as we planned, well, we make plan B and do what we need to do to get it to exactly where you want. What have you noticed, like as far as with intercourse or exercise, or what parts of your life do you feel are different since you had this done?
I'm just not self-conscious and, feeling prettier.
Prettier. I love that. And something I've noticed about you, like even today, is you actually hold yourself in a way that kind of looks more confident and prettier, which has nothing to do with anything that I can't see. The vaginal area obviously isn't something that's visible, but I really think when we feel more self-confident, we kind of hold ourselves differently. And I've noticed that about you the last few times I've seen you. That's really, really sweet.
Thank you.
What would you say to someone who was maybe thinking about having this done and couldn't, maybe decide if it was a good idea?
I would recommend it. It's just, it's a world of difference, and why not? If you have the desire and there's a reason that you feel like you could improve your body somewhat, then go for it.
And there's really no age limit, right? I mean, you're a mature woman, you're in your 60s. We can keep feeling great about ourselves no matter what our age, right? I think sometimes we think, well, we're just past the age that any of this matters, but I don't think that's true, and you've kind of really proved that you recently got married, and it's never too late to want to feel your best.
Absolutely. So I thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.